Honey, I'm going to work. As usual, I picked up my briefcase and gave my wife a kiss on the cheek. Okay, dear. Be careful on the way. Just get out of here quickly. You're so nagging every day and it's really annoying. Honey, I'm going to work. As usual, I picked up my briefcase and gave my wife a kiss on the cheek. Okay, dear. Be careful on the way. Just get out of here quickly. You're so nagging every day and it's really annoying. I rubbed my ears. Did I just have an auditory hallucination or something? My wife, Ava, had a gentle smile on her face, just like always. What's the matter, dear? Did you forget something? My wife looked at me with concern. What the hell are you up to again? You're delaying me from playing mahjong. I was about to speak but stopped immediately. My wife seemed to have only said one sentence just now, right? What are you looking at? Why don't you get lost quickly? Now I was sure. It was really my wife speaking, but these were the words in her heart. I didn't have time to think it over carefully and looked at the time. Damn it. I was going to be late. I quickly went out the door. What bad luck. I kicked over the electric bike. Then I picked it up with a look of distress on my face. It was out of power. The ride that had been with me for 2 years couldn't hold up anymore. I glanced at my phone. It was exactly 8 o'clock. Oh no. The full attendance bonus for this month was wasted. It's rare that you're late today. When I finally got to the company, I was so tired that I was sweating all over. My hair was completely soaked. There wasn't even a fast charging station on the way. This lousy company really knows how to choose a location. I looked at the person who spoke and really wanted to roll my eyes at him. The bike suddenly ran out of power. I scratched my head and acted like a fool. You've been working for 2 years and you're still riding a lousy electric bike. You deserve to be a loser. I watched as the bald man with a look of disdain spat at me and then walked away swaggeringly. I numbly walked to my workstation. There was no way around it. After all, his position was higher than mine. I was just an ordinary 996 worker and I couldn't afford to offend this kind of person who got in through connections. The social pressure is really high nowadays. It's already very difficult to have a stable job. If I work really hard, I can earn about 15,000 yuan a month. Most of the sales work is done through drinking. Sure enough, there was another drinking party tonight. Old Gao, it's Mr. Fan's party tonight. If we get this order, we won't have to worry for the second half of the year. It was a message from my good brother, Lucas. Really? Doesn't Mr. Fan not take orders from us ordinary salespeople? I typed on my phone and replied to the message. That's right. The top salesperson isn't here, so it's just a piece of cake for him to throw us a little bit to earn some money. That guy Lucas was probably slacking off at his workstation too. I was too lazy to reply to him. As long as the message got through. Then I opened the customer memo and started looking for today's target. Bang! There was a loud noise. Who received the customers from Team 2? Do you know that there's a 0 missing in the contract? Looking at the imposing bald man, I cursed in my heart. What's he yelling about every day to show off? He has no ability at all and just yells to show his power. I remember it was handed over to James, right? A voice was particularly clear in the silence. I stared. What nonsense. I'm from Team 7. What does the customer from Team 2 have to do with me? It's you again? You were late this morning, and now you can even make a mistake in the contract. The goods worth 1 million were only written as a contract of 100,000. Are you going to make up for the remaining price difference? The bald man was spitting everywhere. He was almost spitting right into my mouth. This foul-mouthed bald guy, Henry. The deputy director of our sales department. The scum of the scums. Report, I've been in charge of the customers from Team 7 all along and I haven't had any contact with those from Team 2. I stood at attention directly. Why should I take the blame if it's not my fault? You're still talking back. If it wasn't you, why would someone say it was you? There must be someone who saw it to say so. The flesh on Henry's face was shaking. He picked up that document again, and it was definitely aimed at my face. Henry, what are you yelling about? The contract was drawn up by Emma from Team 2. It's already been found out. A cold voice came from behind me. I secretly glanced at her and then immediately lowered my head. Olivia, the director of the sales department. She was always dressed in a neat black and white professional skirt. At the moment, she was staring at Henry with dissatisfaction. Okay, go back to work. You and Emma come in. Olivia pointed at me. What? I was a bit confused. This really had nothing to do with me. Could it be that there was something wrong with my honest answer? Although I was confused, I still obediently followed Olivia to the office. I watched as Olivia dealt with Emma resolutely. The latter was crying with snot and tears, but Olivia's expression didn't change at all. Then when those eyes suddenly looked at me, I instinctively lowered my eyes. James, right? I see you've been in the company for 2 years. Olivia flipped through the documents. Director, is there something I did wrong? I was a bit humble. There was no way around it. I couldn't get fired. Otherwise, how could I support my family? Just the mortgage was 4,500 yuan. No, you've done quite well. Are you interested in the position of the team leader of Team 2? Olivia raised the corners of her mouth into a smile. I suddenly looked up and happened to meet her gaze. My heart was pounding obviously a few beats faster. Yes, I'm interested. I answered firmly. A promotion. A promotion meant a raise in salary. And it was directly the position of the team leader. My hard work of working overtime for the past 2 years had finally been noticed by the director. Sign a new contract and give it to the HR department. People are in high spirits when something good happens. After signing the contract, I could take up the position of the team leader as soon as next week. The team leader's monthly salary was 20,000 yuan, and the commission was calculated separately. Of course, there would be a lot more work. But for me, it was worth it. I couldn't wait to go home and tell my wife that I got promoted. I must go out and have a big meal tonight. When I got home, I didn't see my wife at home. I was a bit disappointed. The first person I wanted to tell about my promotion was her. I immediately booked the private seafood restaurant that my wife had always wanted to go to. It was quite expensive, with a per capita cost of 1,500 yuan. I definitely wouldn't go there normally. Since there was something good today, I had to celebrate. Honey, where are you? I've booked that private seafood restaurant you wanted to eat at. Let's go out for dinner tonight. I took out my phone and called her, but there was no answer. So I had to send her a message. My wife usually gets off work at around 4 o'clock. It was really unexpected that she hadn't come back yet today. I waited for half an hour before I received a reply. I'll go directly there. Which table did you book? She wasn't going home? Well, it was okay to tell her when we had dinner later. I was really extravagant and took a taxi there, which cost me 25 yuan. Just as I saw my wife's beautiful profile and was about to say hello, suddenly a man sat down next to her. Who was this guy? You're here? Hurry up and order. I'm starving. Ava was really annoyed now. Her credit card was maxed out again. She hadn't been able to buy that bag she had her eye on. She was just 3,000 yuan short. I originally wanted to ask who that guy next to her was. Yuri, such a wimp. It's so hard for you to say a word. If it wasn't for the sake of having seafood today, I wouldn't have bothered to reply to his message. My wife was clearly looking at the menu. But I heard her most impatient thoughts. A wimp? I stared straight at her. Here he goes again. His stupid look when he's in a daze is really a turn-off. I can't stand it for a single moment. I took back my gaze. This is William, my college classmate. We just happened to run into each other, so we're having a casual meal together. Since I didn't speak, Ava introduced the man beside her. He was wearing a high-end customized suit, looked gentle with glasses on, and even his name sounded rich. But I just wanted to have dinner with my wife. Hello. I'm not interrupting your couple's time, am I? I'll pay for the meal today. William directly ordered the signature dishes of the restaurant and ordered about 10 of them without even blinking an eye. Enough, enough. We can't finish so much. I already placed an order when I booked the table. I said dryly. Looking at my wife sitting next to another man, even though I was sitting opposite her, I still felt uncomfortable. It's okay. The dishes I ordered don't conflict with yours. William smiled. You're quite considerate. Then we can enjoy a delicious meal. Looking at my wife's somewhat enthusiastic tone, I felt aggrieved. People who didn't know might think they were the couple. The dishes were served one after another. In fact, I had always been looking for a chance to tell her about my promotion. What do you do for work now, William? Is it still related to architecture? William looked at Ava's curious expression. He couldn't help feeling a bit proud. The guy opposite was her husband, and it was a bit exciting to keep finding topics to talk to him in front of her husband. Not bad. I recently contracted a project worth 3 million yuan. I should be able to get the payment by the end of the month. When I heard that, I was like a deflated balloon. 3 million yuan and 20,000 yuan, how could they be compared? Wow, that's so amazing. 3 million yuan a month. That's so exaggerated, right? My wife looked surprised, and her eyes even changed a bit when she looked at that guy. I knew she must be comparing me with this guy. Sure enough, my wife glanced in my direction. Did you hear that, wimp? 3 million. How much do you earn in a month? She changed another word to scold me? I felt my face burning hot, as if my dignity had been torn off and directly trampled on the ground. The dinner I had imagined turned into a moment of embarrassment for me. You guys enjoy your meal slowly. I suddenly have something urgent to deal with. William suddenly looked at his phone and then said with some apology. Finally, he's leaving. Why are you leaving so soon? It's not easy to meet someone I can talk to. I looked at Ava, my wife. She was reluctant to let the other man go. I really got my money's worth today. Ava looked at the table full of special seafood dishes, smiling brightly, and then took out her phone and took a bunch of photos. Several times she pointed the phone at me, and I instinctively smiled and cooperated with her taking photos. What's this fool smiling about? He looks like an idiot when he smiles. It's really enough. The smile on my lips disappeared immediately. In front of others and behind their backs, this was how my wife thought of me. Honey, is there anything special you want to say today? You actually thought of coming here for dinner. Her soft and sweet voice was still so familiar. It's just a meal of seafood. He's so stingy, as if he's done something extraordinary. I opened my mouth but still held back the news of my promotion. I suddenly didn't feel like sharing it anymore. Ever since I could suddenly hear what my wife was thinking in the morning, it completely changed my impression of her. Forget it. I can just coax him casually tonight. A naive guy is the easiest to deal with. The seafood tasted great, but it was like chewing wax to me. I still took a taxi on the way back. So annoying. He can't even afford a car. If it weren't for the fact that he hands over his salary, I'd find it tiring to keep him around. As soon as I got in the car, I heard her inner thoughts again. I couldn't help clenching my fists. I met Ava through a typical blind date introduction. At that time, she was wearing a red long dress and looked gentle and lovely. I fell in love with her at first sight. Unexpectedly, she really liked me too, and then we got married in a flash. In order to get married, my parents emptied their savings. Fortunately, our relationship was good, which was a comfort. I could earn money by working hard. But I didn't know that she had always looked down on me in her heart, which was completely opposite to her usual gentle and caring appearance. Even her words were vicious. I was especially silent all the way. Help me put in the rose-scented one tonight. Ava took my service for granted. Every day I would adjust the water temperature for her bath and add the fragrance she liked. For the past 2 years, it had been like this every day. Of course, she would also cook a dinner at home and wait for me every day. She would iron my clothes neatly. She kept the house clean and tidy. She was completely the standard of a virtuous wife and good mother. Sorry, I have to work overtime today. It was a last-minute notice. I suddenly had a rebellious thought. He doesn't earn much money, so what's the point of working overtime? Forget it, just get out of here quickly. I can just have a good chat with William. My eyes darkened. Then I picked up my briefcase and turned to go out. It was already 10 o'clock at night. The wind made my face a bit stiff. I consider myself a fairly qualified husband. I hand over my salary card and never ask my wife where she spends the money. I do the housework every day. When she cooks, I wash the dishes. When she wipes the table, I mop the floor. On my days off, I will definitely accompany my wife to go shopping. I carry the bags and take things so that she doesn't get tired. I only have 500 yuan for my own living expenses every month. I don't smoke or drink in front of her. I never have any contact with other women, except my mother. I don't understand what else Ava is not satisfied with. Maybe it's because I'm not rich enough. Thinking of this, I opened my phone. Besides a bunch of customer contacts, I actually have very few friends. Julian, want to have a drink? I found my good brother's profile picture and sent a message. Damn, did you send it to the wrong person? No, are you really yourself? The message was almost replied to instantly. Julian is my buddy who I've grown up with since childhood. Are you coming or not? I really need to let off some steam now. Coming, coming, coming. The sun is really rising from the west. I have to come and take a look. Actually, I can drink and smoke. As a salesperson, how could I not know how to do these things? But I've never smoked or drunk in front of Ava. She said she hated those smells. So every time I came back from a business dinner, no matter how late it was, I would wash myself thoroughly twice to make sure there was really no smell of alcohol or cigarettes. Then I would go to bed. You're really something. You actually started drinking. When Julian came, I had already drunk 2 bottles of beer. To be honest, it's really a bit cold to drink in this weather. But I had a nameless anger burning in my heart. Hurry up and drink. Don't talk nonsense. I opened a bottle for him. What's going on? It's rare to see you like this. I saw you like this once when you broke up in college. What's going on? Are you going to get a divorce? Julian looked at me with a questioning expression. Ha ha ha, how is that possible? You love your wife to death. He picked up a peanut. He didn't believe what he just said the most. Since I got married, I've been the epitome of a man with high moral standards. The top guy among the wife slaves. You tell me, can a person really be so different on the inside and outside? I looked at Julian with a serious expression. People are complex by nature. Isn't that normal? Julian shrugged indifferently. I mean, if your wife is completely different from what you usually see, what would you do? I really needed someone to help me figure this out. How different? Can she transform or is she an alien? Julian was completely confused. I mean, her usual way of speaking and her personality, etc., are actually all fake. I took a big gulp and choked on my breath, coughing so hard that tears came out. James, you need to explain this clearly. Is there something wrong between you and Ava? Julian sat up straight. It's not her, it's me. No, she also has a problem. I was talking incoherently. What do you mean by, it's you, and, it's her? Just tell me what happened. Did she cheat? Julian was disappointed at me for failing to live up to his expectations and snatched the beer bottle from me. I shook my head. Then what are you being sentimental and torn about here? She scolded me. I lowered my head and stared blankly at the peanuts on the table. She scolded you? What's the big deal about that? Couples make up after a fight. What are you afraid of? Just be thick-skinned. Mine scolds me all the time. Julian thought it was some serious problem, but it was just this? My mouth felt bitter and astringent. She scolded me from the bottom of her heart, looked down on me, and despised me. But on the surface, she had to pretend to be gentle, virtuous, and deeply in love with me. I couldn't figure it out. Since that's the case, why did she agree to marry me in the first place? Look at you. You're already drinking to drown your sorrows because of this. Julian couldn't help but retort. I'm so scared. I really love Ava. I even quarreled with my parents because of her, and they were so angry that they called me an unfilial son. When I heard the specific notification ringtone, I instinctively clicked on it immediately. Honey, aren't you coming back today? It was a message from Ava. After all, I come home every day, and this is the first time I haven't. What's the matter? Your wife messaged you? Then hurry up and go back. Julian stretched his neck and saw the content of the message. I kind of don't want to go back. I always felt that something was wrong. What? You're not normal today. Listen to me and go back quickly. After you sleep in bed, everything can be solved. Julian scratched his head. He was even anxious for me. I'll be right back. It seems I can't go back today because I still have some work to finish. I originally wanted to say I'd go back right away. But then I thought about it and changed my words. That's right. Okay, bro. My wife also sent me a message. I'm going back now. Let's make another appointment next time. Julian thought I was sending a message to go home. He smiled and patted my shoulder and then rushed back to find his wife. After drinking the last bottle of beer, I took a taxi, but somehow, instead of going directly to the downstairs of my own house, I got off at the building diagonally opposite. From this angle, I could just see my own home. The 3rd floor. The light was still on. My wife wasn't asleep yet. Was she still waiting for me? I suddenly wanted to rush up and give her a hug. She still had me in her heart. Just as I took a step forward. Suddenly, a black BMW stopped downstairs. Then a man got out. I swear with my 5.0 eyesight that I've definitely seen this person before. I don't know why, but I took half a step back and happened to be in the shadow of the nearby green belt. The man closed the car door and looked back. In an instant, all the blood in my body froze and I stood there stiffly. I met him again so soon. William. A particularly terrifying thought suddenly flashed through my mind. He was definitely not a resident here. In our community, the highest building is only 6 floors. There are a total of 6 buildings. Most of the residents here are middle-aged and elderly people. A rich person like William couldn't possibly live here. Moreover, I've never met him here in more than 2 years. Then there's only one possibility. He's here to see my wife. My teeth were grinding together. On the one hand, I was consumed by anger, and on the other hand, I felt extremely desperate. Yet, there was still a glimmer of hope. Maybe there was someone he knew here? It wasn't necessarily my wife. I even took a photo of him with my phone and zoomed in to take a closer look. I watched him go upstairs with my own eyes. Pop! The phone dropped directly to the ground. The screen flashed a few times with white light and then went out. I witnessed my wife's infidelity. The intertwined figures by the window were inseparable. In that warm little home that I painstakingly decorated bit by bit with my own hands. Mechanically, I bent down, picked up the phone, gave it a couple of hard shakes, and it worked again. Then I took a photo of that couple who were as close as conjoined twins. Looking at the cracked screen and the phone with chipped paint all over, my heart, just like the phone, was broken. For a full 4 hours. I crouched in the shadow of the green belt. I watched the light in my home stay on until 3 o'clock in the morning. William came down, got in his car, and left. The light also went out. My legs had long gone numb and lost all feeling. I stared blankly at the direction of my home, lost in thought. In fact, I could have rushed up there just now and caught them red-handed. The two of them, that son of a bitch and that slut, stayed together for 4 hours. Were they being greedy in the middle of the night or just chatting under the covers? With red eyes. I definitely had to make these two pay the price. James, you did a great job this time. You actually managed to secure the deal with Donghua. I just received the contract from them today. I went straight to the company without sleeping all night. As soon as I punched in and sat down, Director Olivia came over. What's going on? You can't push yourself too hard at work. Olivia was startled by my appearance. I had specifically tidied myself up in the restroom, but no matter what I did, the dark circles under my eyes and the red blood vessels in my white eyes just wouldn't go away. Balance work and rest. I remember you still have some vacation days left, right? There are about 5 days in total. Do you want to adjust your state? Olivia handed me a document. I rubbed my eyes and refused. Donghua has specified that you will be in charge of their sales and reception from now on. That's great news. There was approval in Olivia's eyes. I flipped through the contract. Donghua was a major client. It took me nearly half a year to secure the deal, but it was all worth it. As long as they place an order once, I can get at least 30,000 yuan in commission. The dark clouds in my heart suddenly dissipated a lot, and then I suddenly remembered something. Director, I lost my salary card. Can I directly change to a new one? First of all, I should manage my own money. Send the information directly to me. I'll talk to the finance department later. Olivia nodded and went into the office. I went home after work. Welcome back, dear. Ava wore a gentle smile, took my briefcase for me, and placed the slippers at my feet. You've really been working so hard. You didn't come back all night. I specially stewed a nourishing soup today. Drink more later. Drink more. Once you fall asleep, I can go out. I wonder what the surprise he mentioned today is? I paused while changing my slippers. The knuckles of my fingers resting on the entrance cabinet turned white from the force. William? Were they really that eager to be together? On the dining table, there were 4 dishes and 1 soup. They looked appetizing, smelled good, and tasted great. The combination of 2 meat dishes and 2 vegetable dishes was perfect. I usually like drinking soup a lot and would definitely finish it at every meal. I sat down. Instead of serving the soup first as I usually did, I took a bite of the stir-fried green vegetables first, and then I frowned. Why don't you have the soup first today, dear? I stewed it for 2 hours. Ava took a bite of the rice and looked a bit puzzled. Could he have discovered something? Who would have thought that private restaurant would go out of business and stop operating? I had to buy takeout from another restaurant. What? My pupils suddenly shrank. The taste today was indeed different from usual. But I would never have imagined that the delicious meals my wife made for me over the past 2 years were actually takeout from other restaurants. This is really eye-opening, like a knife cutting my ass. I'm such a fool. When I praised her for how amazing she was before, was she secretly laughing at me and calling me an idiot in her heart? I only took a few bites and then put down my chopsticks and didn't even take a sip of the soup. Is the food not to your taste today, dear? What would you like to eat? Ava was anxious when she saw that I only ate a few mouthfuls. It seemed like she was showing concern for me. I'll order takeout from another place next time. I specifically chose a more expensive one. What bad luck. I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable in my stomach and can't eat much. I want to take a shower and rest first. I worked through the night yesterday and then went to work today. My body can't take it. I acted as if nothing had happened, just like I usually did. Okay. Then go take a shower and go to bed. Your health is important. Ava immediately went to find my pajamas for me. This was too hasty. In the past, you would never have taken the initiative to find clothes for me. With a gloomy expression, I had a crazy idea. It was time to show my true strength. Otherwise, how could I get what I wanted? A beast out in the open isn't scary. It's the poisonous snake hiding in the dark that's the most dangerous. I decided to be a snake this time. While she was looking for clothes, I directly opened the phone on her desk, scanned it with my phone, quickly clicked on a few things, and then put it back in its original place. She didn't know that I was also a somewhat well-known hacker. I just retired from that line of work a long time ago. I would never touch her phone under normal circumstances. She said that when two people are in a relationship, they need personal space and trust in each other. I had done that. But what about her? The scene I saw in a flash just now. It was still in front of my eyes. Room 1103, Jean Quan Grand Hotel. I have a surprise for you. Honey, are you asleep? Ava's voice rang in my ears, full of probing. I made a slight snoring sound. Pretending to be asleep was easy. Sure enough, the sound of footsteps moved away. There was a rustling sound, as if she was changing clothes. I secretly opened my eyes a little slit, and the snoring sound didn't stop. Maybe Ava wouldn't have thought that I, who was so honest, would actually pretend to be asleep. I'll be there soon. Wait for me. He's asleep, just like a pig. Ava lowered her voice a bit. But I wasn't asleep. Naturally, I heard it clearly. She was carrying a new bag. Thanks to her, now know a bit about bags. This bag costs around 70,000 yuan. With my salary and her salary, it's impossible for us to afford it at the moment. After all, we don't have much savings. I closed my eyes, and a waft of perfume came over. Honey? Sure enough, she came to test me again. Seeing that I still didn't react, the sound of footsteps moved away, and the sound of the door closing rang out. The sound, which she deliberately made soft, hit my heart like a heavy hammer. I opened my eyes and looked at the light on the ceiling. Then I opened my phone. I clicked on a gray icon. On the map, a small red heart was moving slowly. This was a small program I wrote in my spare time. It was called Love Tracking. It was used to locate my wife's position. I made it a long time ago. Although I once thought about installing it on her phone. But trust prevailed in the end, so I just kept it in my own phone and ignored it. I never thought that there would really be a day when I would use it. I got out of bed, put on some clothes and pants, picked up my laptop, and went out. The address I saw before was a famous 5-star hotel. But it was also the source of the most small videos. There was no way around it. In some hotels, even the pinhole cameras were installed by the hotels themselves. It was for these videos that they could make money the fastest. I took a taxi there and saw that the little red heart on my phone had indeed stopped at that hotel. How wonderful. There was no hope for me to have any illusions. In the stairwell, I wore a mask and a hat, and rows of codes flashed on the computer screen. Half an hour had passed. The screen flashed, and I saw two figures. One was kneeling, and the other was standing. I clicked on the screen recording function. My heart ached so much that it was difficult to breathe. The person I cherished so much. At this moment, she was being extremely flattering and obsequious in William's arms. Is this surprise great? Usually, when she got a little scratch, she would pitifully cry out in pain. But now, even though William treated her without any mercy, she was smiling brightly. I twitched the corner of my mouth, and my eyes were gloomy. There were countless scenes that were too vulgar to look at next. At this moment, I didn't feel any heartache. I even felt a bit excited. You see, you didn't want the person who loved you deeply and cherished you, but you were so eager to be someone's plaything for amusement. You're just asking for death. I listened to the sounds in my earphones. My expression was numb. It lasted for 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 36 seconds. It was time for me to leave. When I got home, I opened Ava's cloakroom. All I could see were all kinds of clothes, shoes, and bags. Only in the most corner did I see a few of my own everyday clothes hanging there pitifully, as if they were laughing at me. Laughing at me for being buried the deepest like a fool. I dug out the passbooks. I gave her 2 passbooks in total. One had 200,000 yuan in it, which was the betrothal gift, and the money for the 3 gold items, which was 60,000 yuan. The other had 180,000 yuan, which was the money I had saved. The down payment for the house was 380,000 yuan, which was paid by my parents. The miscellaneous expenses for the wedding banquet were also paid by my family, adding up to 150,000 yuan in total. My monthly salary is 15,000 yuan. After deducting the mortgage, it's about 10,000 yuan left. In 2 years, that's 240,000 yuan. I can get a bonus of about 30,000 yuan each year. All in all, I've invested a total of 1.27 million yuan in her and myself. To be precise, most of it was spent on her. I'm just an ordinary person from an ordinary family. My mother is even a disabled person. Our family is almost supported by my father alone. It's already amazing that they could afford the down payment and the betrothal gift. Now, the balance of the 2 passbooks is 0. Even though I was mentally prepared, my heart is still bleeding. These are all hard-earned money. Is there really not a single penny left? It's impossible that all the money was used for household expenses, right? With trembling hands, I put the passbooks back in their original place. I changed into my previous pajamas and had just lain down when there was a noise at the door. Could it be that Ava is back? I immediately closed my eyes. Sis? A somewhat rough voice sounded. What does this mean? Is it my brother-in-law? Why on earth would he come here at this late hour? The bedroom door was opened. He seemed to be surprised that I was in bed, and then he closed the door again. Then there was a rustling sound. What is he doing? Since the door was closed, I couldn't see exactly what was going on. Gabriel. My wife's younger brother. Although he was adopted by Ava's biological parents from the neighboring village because they wanted a boy in the family. I still remember when I went to pick up the bride, he insisted that I kneel down and say that my wife would be the most important in the future and that I would only listen to her in the family. Then he also asked for a red envelope of 8,888 yuan. He's a good-for-nothing that can't be helped. But what can I do? After all, he's my wife's younger brother and her family member. I can't fall out with him, and I even try to please him. Why? I'm afraid that Ava will be angry and go back to her parents' home and ignore me. There were several times when we had conflicts and quarreled. Although I didn't blame her too much and just put forward my own opinions, she would get angry for no apparent reason. Then she would run back to her parents' home crying. As soon as she cried, would be at a loss. I would do everything to please her. Gabriel would take the opportunity to ask me to give him money and benefits. I could only do as he said, and I even watched Ava transfer money to him several times. Now, at this late hour, which younger brother would come to his sister and brother-in-law's home in the middle of the night and open the bedroom door as soon as he arrives? I suddenly realized that is the relationship between the sister and the brother a bit too close? A ridiculous thought suddenly popped up in my mind and then kept expanding in my heart. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead. I suddenly felt a chill all over my body. This can't be true. This is absolutely impossible. If Ava is having an affair with William, it's because William is rich. Who is Gabriel? Although he's not her biological brother by blood, they have been getting along as siblings for so many years. I held my head in my hands. For the first time, I felt so disgusted. I don't know when Ava came back. When I got up, she was still sleeping. She was wearing long-sleeved pajamas and long pants, wrapped up tightly. I sneered and stared at her for a few seconds. She usually just wears a nightgown when she sleeps. This action is undoubtedly like trying to hide the fact that there's no silver buried here. But I know that she has to wear it. After all, the whip marks on her body are clearly printed on her skin. She knows that our married life only happens twice a week. It never changes, on Tuesdays and Saturdays. She knows so much about me just to make it convenient for her own actions. Unfortunately, she doesn't know that I know her even better. I also installed pinhole cameras at home. In the living room, the bedroom, the cloakroom, and even the bathroom. Anyway, Ava's small videos are destined to be seen by a lot of people. Since she doesn't respect herself, why should I care? At most, I'll just add fuel to the fire. Honey, my mom asked us to go back for dinner tomorrow. Ava put on a turtleneck undershirt and a long skirt that reached her ankles. Okay. I put the washed bowls back in the cabinet and agreed. I definitely can't miss such a good opportunity. The next morning, Ava and I first went to the supermarket to buy cigarettes, alcohol, and nutritional products, and then we took a car to her parents' home. Her home is in the village. We need to transfer twice by car, and it takes about 3 hours to get there. You're back? My mother-in-law skillfully took the things from my hands. My father-in-law was drinking tea beside him and didn't even look in our direction. The meal will be ready soon. Sit down and have some fruit. My mother-in-law pointed to the sofa. There were a few wrinkled apples on the tea table. Mom, is the meal ready? I'm starving. Gabriel yawned and walked out of the room with a messy hair. Sis, you're here? When Gabriel saw Ava, his eyes lit up, and he directly came over and hugged her. I squinted my eyes and pretended not to see it. I had never paid attention to it before and thought that they just had a good relationship as siblings. Okay, you're already so old. So, has that job been sorted out? Ava smiled and patted Gabriel on the back. Gabriel reluctantly let go. I've sort of got it, but there's not much salary at the beginning. Gabriel looked dissatisfied. Didn't I tell you to butter up the boss? What happened? Ava pulled Gabriel to sit down on the sofa and completely forgot that I was beside her. Anyway, I'm used to it. Ah, that old guy is hinting that the benefits aren't enough. Sis, can you give me some? When I get settled, I'll take you to enjoy the good life. He's over 1.8 meters tall but still acts like a child, shaking Ava's arm. It's really disgusting. Okay, I'll transfer some money to you later. Once you get the job, work hard. Ava agreed very readily. Yeah, the money from her affair is quite a lot, about 100,000 yuan. I couldn't help but curl the corner of my mouth. Brother-in-law seems to be in a good mood. Did you get your salary? Gabriel directly addressed me. Don't you know whether I got my salary or not? The salary card is in your sister's hands. It's credited to the account on the 25th of every month on time. And then it disappears on time. Not yet. I shook my head. By the way, brother-in-law, doesn't your company give you a raise? It's obvious that Gabriel has his eyes on my money. Yeah, otherwise, if you want to have a child, your salary won't be enough to support it. My mother-in-law came out of the kitchen and served the dishes. It was a big pot of stew. It's okay. I've given all my money to Ava. Excluding Ava's betrothal gift, there's also about 200,000 to 300,000 yuan. Having a child won't be a problem. I looked at Ava with a smile on my face. There's not that much. There must be living expenses as well. Ava immediately retorted. It's impossible that the living expenses cost over 300,000 yuan in 2 years, right? I directly picked up the conversation. Ava's face stiffened. She seemed not to have expected that I would be so aggressive. There's not a single penny left. Do you think I haven't seen the passbooks? What's your attitude, James? My mother-in-law raised her voice a bit. No, I was just asking casually. After all, we don't have big expenses usually. We just buy groceries and cook some home-cooked meals. We don't even have a car, so the expenses definitely can't be that high. I looked sincere. Okay, let's eat. My father-in-law glared at me. Men shouldn't talk so much and gossip. He gave me a meaningful look. So I'm supposed to be a mute and be played around by your whole family. I pretended to take it to heart and buried my head in eating. The taste of the stew, which never changes, made my stomach protest a bit today. James, I asked you to come here today because I have something to discuss with you. My mother-in-law cleared the dishes but didn't rush to wash them. When have you not had something to ask for when we come back? I scoffed in my heart. Naturally, I still had to pretend to be the same as usual on the surface. What's the matter, Mom? I followed her words. You see, Gabriel has found a job, but the place where he works is too far from here. It happens to be close to your place, so let him live with you. I looked at Gabriel. He's tall and big, but his squinting eyes ruin his overall appearance. Mom, you know I only have one bedroom in my place. I bought a small apartment. It has one bedroom, one living room, one kitchen, and one bathroom. The bedroom is just a bit larger in area. Half of the bedroom was partitioned off to be Ava's cloakroom. I know. The living room is big. Just let Gabriel sleep in the living room. It won't take long to set up a bed. Do you think this request is reasonable? Which brother-in-law would want to live in his brother-in-law's home when he clearly knows there's only one room? I think it's okay. It's too inconvenient for Gabriel to commute to work. Just move the dining table to the kitchen, and he can sleep in the living room. Ava agreed before I could answer. Sis, you're so kind. We can be together again. When I heard this sentence, I almost couldn't hold it in. Fortunately, I pinched my thigh hard and managed to hold back. An indescribable feeling of disgust welled up in my heart. Looking at this family chatting and laughing, I felt like a pet that was stuffed into a sack and treated at will. Honey, why don't we change the sofa? Change it to the kind that can be turned into a bed, so Gabriel will be more comfortable when he comes to sleep. When we got home, Ava directly said. The joy on her face couldn't be hidden at all. I looked at my broken phone and didn't say anything. Your own husband's phone is in such a bad state, and it's in front of you every day, yet you don't even notice it. But as soon as your younger brother is coming, you immediately want to change the sofa. Are you just afraid that he'll be uncomfortable? I've only just realized my position in her heart now. I'm afraid I'm not even as good as a dog in her eyes. Sure, the money is all with you. I agreed readily. Ava's expression changed a bit. She had just transferred 30,000 yuan to her younger brother on the way back. She had bought a bag and several sets of clothes in the past few days, and she actually had less than 10,000 yuan left in her hand. And my salary won't be paid for another half month. If we buy a sofa, and it's a bit expensive, then there might not be any money left for living expenses. No way. There's less than 10,000 yuan left out of the 100,000 yuan from William. If we buy the sofa, there won't be any living expenses left. My expression changed. It's only been a few days? Has the 100,000 yuan been spent already? Forget it. I'll just make an appointment with William again today. Anyway, I can just tell this fool James that I'm not feeling well and not sleep with him. My hand holding the phone tightened a bit. She really goes all out for her younger brother. Why can't she show this kind of concern for me? Hello? Okay, sure, I'll come right away. I answered the phone, and Olivia's voice came through. I don't know what's going on recently. It seems that great fortune has come my way. Now there's another company that specifically wants me to be their host. Its scale is no smaller than that of Donghua. Who was that? I heard it was a woman's voice. Ava looked at me nervously. The director of the sales department. You've met her. She called because there are some clients coming temporarily, and they're under my responsibility. I have to go there. I won't be back for dinner, and I'm not sure when I'll be back. I looked at her with a somewhat complicated expression. I set a trap. Go ahead. It's just as she wishes. Ah, really? Why do you have to work overtime on a day off like this? Why don't you just not go? Ava looked at me with a concerned face. Just go, you idiot. It's really too coincidental. I just didn't know what excuse to make to go out and find William. I picked up my briefcase. The moment I turned around, my face turned dark. Enjoy it secretly now. You'll have plenty to suffer later. Okay. Then let's sign the contract directly this time. James is really good. We must finalize it immediately. Maxwell, the CEO of the Maxwell Group, laughed heartily. He patted me on the shoulder. You're so straightforward, Maxwell. Olivia beside him also had a delighted smile on her face. To be honest, I really have the intention of having James come and work for me. The monthly salary will be 50,000 yuan, and the commission will be calculated separately. What do you think? Maxwell looked at me. Maxwell, you're not being very kind. I still rely on James to make a living, Olivia said with a smile, and there was a hint of nervousness in her gaze as she looked at me. People always strive for better things. This society is very realistic. Thank you for your favor, Maxwell. I still need to hone my abilities. It took our director a lot of effort to train me. If I leave just like that, she'll be heartbroken. I said jokingly. Ha ha ha, interesting. Okay, I won't try to poach you. If you ever want to change jobs, just come to me directly. Maxwell gave me an open invitation. Thank you so much, Maxwell. You're so eager to seek talent. Your company will definitely grow bigger and bigger. I'll just rely on your contract and enjoy the good life following behind you. There was a genuine smile on my face. This kid, oh my, he really knows how to talk. Don't worry. As long as I'm here this year, next year, and in the following years, you'll be the designated host. Maxwell laughed heartily. This contract was unexpectedly easy to obtain, and the amount was also surprisingly large. You're amazing, James. Since you got promoted to team leader, it's like you're on a winning streak, and contracts are coming to you one after another. The smile on Olivia's face couldn't be hidden. Just these 2 orders are already equivalent to 1/5 of the performance in the first half of the year. Just the commission alone is almost 200,000 yuan. This deal is amazing. Olivia was even happier than me. I'll treat you to a meal when I get my salary. I immediately replied. That's for sure. But I wonder if your wife will mind? I heard that you're a real wife's man. Ha, no offense intended. She looked a bit embarrassed. It's okay. This is work-related. What's there for her to make a fuss about? I shook my head. She doesn't mean anything to me now. Honey, I have to pull an all-nighter again tonight. I sat on the bed in the hotel, took out my phone, and sent a message to Ava. Then I turned on my computer. After clicking a few times, images from different angles of my home appeared on the computer screen. What's the hurry? My brother-in-law is working overtime until 9 o'clock today. Ava's voice came through clearly in the earphones. Didn't I tell her I'm working overtime all night? But then I remembered her previous thoughts about going to find William, and I understood. Even so, I still felt as if I had been struck by lightning. The previous thought. In the image from the bathroom, that tall figure that suddenly appeared in the camera. The moment he turned his head, I stopped breathing. Watching the two of them behaving like the most primitive beasts, my face turned pale with anger, and my stomach churned. I checked the time. There were still 30 seconds left before 10 minutes. I couldn't help but sneer. With such a big build, is this all he can do? I recorded the whole process. During this process, I was surprisingly calm in my heart. Sibling incest. They really brought this upon themselves. I stuck out my tongue and licked my lips, as if I could already envision their miserable end in the future. After a few more random movements, Ava started pushing and shoving to make Gabriel leave. Although he was reluctant, Gabriel still left. So I watched as Ava rushed to change her clothes, put on makeup, sprayed perfume, and then rushed out the door. The location was still the same hotel as last time. I directly controlled it remotely. Ava. Even the girls in a nightclub don't have such seamless transitions, do they? But this is just right. I can record more evidence. It won't be me who loses face then. As for William, I've checked Ava's phone. I directly hacked into it and also obtained William's information. When I suddenly saw it, I couldn't believe it. This guy William actually has dozens of gigabytes of small videos on his computer, and he's the protagonist in all of them. Amazing. No wonder he looks so drained. He must have put in a lot of effort to shoot so many. 80% of them were taken from a candid angle, and the rest were selfies. There are all kinds of tricks, and he really goes wild. I was attracted by a file named Damn Bug, and it's even encrypted. How childish. I easily cracked it. The moment I opened it, my eyes were bloodshot. If shooting small videos is considered a minor crime for William, the content of this file, he must be sentenced to death. There are also 39 files of various sizes inside. All of them are lists of workers who died in engineering accidents, compensation lists, threats, and the results of handling the situations. My temples were throbbing. Calculating the number of deaths before and after, it reached an astonishing 101 people. William, you really deserve to die. Looking at the folder, at the miserable conditions of those workers and their families, there are many photos. If this is exposed, it will definitely cause a sensation across the country. How big of a heart must one have to keep such information in their computer? If I hadn't been stimulated by Ava and followed the clues, would never have known the inhumane things he had done. My heart was pounding wildly. I drank several large gulps of water before gradually calming down. I must expose this. Scum, a scoundrel, a beast. How many families have been destroyed because of this guy? Yet he's been living peacefully, squandering money, and indulging in men and women. I looked at the two people still entangled in the image. Ava, should I even thank you? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have discovered the inhumane things this scumbag William had done, right? I backed up everything. I've received this bomb. During the following period, Gabriel moved in with me. I acted as if nothing had happened and secretly collected various information about Ava, Gabriel, and William. No, there's another person. Henry. The deputy director of the sales department, that stupid bald guy. I hacked into his information too. The old guy has a lot of dirt on him, like embezzling public funds and accepting bribes. That's enough to get him in big trouble. The fish in this net are almost all caught. It's time to close the net. Congratulations. Haha. Let's eat and drink well today. It's my father-in-law's 50th birthday. That's right, he's 50 years old. My mother-in-law suddenly suggested holding a big celebration. It just happened to be the day I got my salary. I agreed. When is the time when there are the most people, the liveliest, and everyone is the happiest? My father-in-law and mother-in-law love to show off so much and care so much about face. They will definitely invite a lot of people. Even distant relatives and people with little connection will be invited to liven up the place. Isn't this the perfect opportunity for my revenge? Looking at Ava, who was greeting guests on the side, and my father-in-law, who was smiling so widely that his eyes were almost gone, I exhaled heavily. It's a sunny day. Today is really a good day. The good show begins. Dear guests, hello. Today is an important day for the birthday celebrant Ethan. Let's give him a round of applause. I clapped my hands. Clap, clap. Then I took out my phone and clicked a few times. There are a total of 38 tables of guests, which is half more than the number at my wedding. A festive song was playing on the huge screen. Suddenly, the scene changed to show intertwined bodies with pale skin. It was a live sex scene right on the spot. It burst out with shocking content. The theme was about siblings. It was definitely something that would make people exclaim in surprise. There was a commotion at the scene. My father-in-law and mother-in-law were completely stunned. Gabriel was so scared that he stood rooted to the spot. Only Ava's face twisted in distortion as she shrieked and told the staff to turn off the screen. It couldn't be turned off. Once I took action, how could it be turned off so easily? Unless the power supply was cut off. Sure enough, Ava was in a panic. One of her shoes even flew off as she ran. She covered her face, not wanting others to see her. The big screen was clear enough. What's the use of covering her face? It was really exciting. They didn't have the slightest bit of time to pay attention to me. There were still many people at the scene watching with great interest. The smile on my face just wouldn't stop. It was so satisfying. Regarding the matter between Ava and Gabriel, it made it impossible for their family to show their faces in public anymore. Divorce was inevitable, and she would have to leave the marriage without taking anything, and she must return my money. Just because of the sibling relationship, the public's condemnation would be like nails that would firmly nail their whole family's dignity to the ground, making it impossible for them to hold their heads up. But I didn't expect that Ava went to find William, and William didn't seem to mind her. Unfortunately, just as the two of them started to get intimate, the police came knocking on the door. At the same time, the police also found Henry. It was reported in the news. I didn't have time to think about it in detail and check the time. Ava didn't understand what was going on, but she was also taken away for investigation along with them. There were so many paparazzi and journalists covering the follow-up reports that I didn't even need to get involved. At most, I just started it all. I just sent out the evidence of their crimes. Watching the videos of the crazy acts of the public, like graffiti, smashing, and looting at William's house, I sighed. For those who had already been persecuted, this was all I could do. I hope that if you are watching from the heavens as William is caught, you can feel a little better in your hearts. The things William had done were so heinous that they attracted the attention of the country. The amount of bribes Henry took was in the tens of millions. He was directly taken away by the police from his company and wouldn't have a good outcome. Greed is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. He was originally a person who got his position through connections, and the salary he received for doing that job without much effort was already quite high. He just had to get involved in such things. It's like an old man on his birthday eating arsenic, seeking his own death. Congratulations, Deputy Director James. Olivia shook my hand. Her eyes were filled with surprise. Same to you, same to you. I was wearing a decent suit and had a calm expression. I've gotten rid of the past, and the wonderful story continues.